Talk about 8 ways on how to deal with being in a healthy relationship after getting out of a toxic relationship. The transition from a toxic relationship to a healthy relationship can be so difficult because you have no idea what to expect. You still have those toxic ways ingrained into your mind from your old partner. But don't worry, I'm here to help you because we are getting into our healthy girl era and we're done with putting up with toxic bullshit. Number 1, which is pretty obvious, try your best not to project your trauma onto your new partner. This is not your old partner. This is a new person that could have been nothing but genuine to you. It's totally normal to not be able to give 100% after being in a toxic relationship, but you just have to do as much as you can do. Give them the benefit of the doubt. Whatever you can make happen and make your mind be okay with, do it. But just to put it in perspective, just because your ex-boyfriend perhaps cheated on you, that doesn't automatically mean your new partner is cheating on you. They actually could be your soulmate, but you're trying to sabotage it before it even gets good. Which goes into number 2, which is don't self-sabotage. Also, I'm using the combo of the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter with the Dior Forever Glow, and this combo and shade match is Chef's Kiss. But again, you're only ever going to find your soulmate and your person if you just put yourself out there. And I know it can be so scary, but just try to put your guard down and just let it be. Everything happens for a reason. See, like the skin and the glow of this foundation, unreal. Number 3, openly communicate about how you feel and about your past. If you make an effort to tell your partner about your past and let him in, he may be more inclined to just understand where you're coming from and not get scared off if you happen to spiral. At the end of the day, by you openly communicating about your past, you are just letting your partner in, and if he doesn't understand where you're coming from, maybe he's not the right person for you. Number 4, set boundaries early on into the relationship. This is your opportunity to tell your partner what you're comfortable with and not comfortable with, especially based on your past toxic ex. Keep in mind though, when you set these boundaries, actually stick by them. If you see red flags in him like going against your boundaries early on, cut him off. He's not worth it. Number 5, this is probably the one you don't want to hear, but work on yourself. 9 times out of 10, a toxic relationship comes from a 2-way streak of both partners acting up. So you gotta get your shit right too before you're going all in on a healthy relationship. Number 6, practice different forms of resolving conflict with your partner. This way you can kind of test out what works for you guys and what doesn't work for you. Everyone handles arguments completely differently. Okay. So that carries over into how people argue and how they handle conflict. Guys, this is a Benefit Crystal Blush, and it's like the prettiest red shade, and it just gives like a natural sun-kissed moment. Number 7, be intentional with your thoughts and words. If you're constantly putting out negative energy and words about your partner and your relationship, guess what? Negative shit's gonna happen. And number 8, be open to building a relationship and growing every single day. The relationship is only gonna get better if you're willing to work on the different phases and openly communicate with your partner. You guys just gotta grow together. I'm gonna finish up the makeup off camera. And this is let's talk about whether or not you should get back with your ex. Absolutely not, and let me explain why. Okay, first of all, going through a breakup is the hardest thing in the world. Whether you broke up with them or they broke up with you, either way, it's so challenging to deal with. Obviously, there's gonna be times when you're going through the breakup if you think you should get back with that person or not. It's super difficult because I'm sure your connection with this partner was unique and you obviously feel a sense of comfortability with them, but trust me, I'm gonna explain why it's just not worth it. Also, this is the Refi Primer and it's so good. I mix it with the Milk Makeup Primer and it does like the perfect combination. First things first, if you're in communication with your ex, cut off that communication. Even if you guys think you guys are like best friends or whatever, it's just so hard on you when you're trying to get over a breakup. If you're in constant communication and they're like texting you like, how are you? It's just gonna remind you of their presence and like you don't need that. You wanna be handling this like a death and you're grieving it. Now that we covered that, let's get into why you shouldn't get back with your ex. Your ex is a person from the past. They came into your life at a time that you needed or wanted them, but then they left at a time that you needed. They served their purpose in the moment, but you guys grew out of each other. There was a reason why that person ended up exiting your life. The entire situation expired. It's done. Rather than missing the time you spent with them, start appreciating what you learned and were taught from that relationship and how that's going to affect you in the future. Guys, I'm so mad. My Charlotte Tilbury literally just exploded. Please, let's not do that again. Along with that, I also want you guys to think about why you broke up in the first place. Try to think about the facts. If you were the one that broke up with them, I'm sure you broke up with them for a reason and you don't deserve that in your life. And if they broke up with you and then all of a sudden are interested in taking you back, why on earth would you want to be with somebody that didn't want you in their life at one point? I don't care what they were going through. They didn't want you at one point in their life. The most important part is now that you're single, you need to just take this time to work on yourself and grow. I know it's easier said than done, but the more you're confident and comfortable in your own skin, the more it's going to be I can't speak English, the more it'll be easier to get over them. One other thing is I don't want you to live your life wondering like what if they changed, or what if this went this way, because basically it didn't. Okay, so you're where you're at now, and that's what was meant to be. The more you spiral in your head thinking what it could have been, the more you're just gonna like make yourself go crazy. Because also think about this, 9 times out of 10 when people get back together after breaking up, the relationship is literally never the same, and it's just not gonna live up to your expectations anyways. So whatever you have in your mind thinking it's gonna be, it's not. Anywho, I'm gonna finish up the rest of my main. Talk about 10 ways to make your relationship last, coming from a girl who's been in a relationship for 6 years. This is part 3. Number 1, establish a positive relationship with your partner's parents. Obviously, I'm aware that this can't happen every time, but if you are able to establish a positive relationship with your partner's parents, it will be life-changing to your relationship. You'll be able to see what it's like to have a second family, and it'll also show you how it's going to be when you guys settle down and have a family. Number 2 is have different friends. Also, this is the Refi Primer, and it's so good and hydrating. You guys are 2 independent people, and it's important to just have your own forms of friend groups and support systems. Even though it's nice having a whole friend group squad with your boyfriend, that leads to a lot of drama because like other people in the group tend to get involved in the relationship, and you can't just take a step back if you need it. So this is the combo of the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter and Iconic London Smoothing Blur, and look how good it is. Number 4, absolutely never lie. The second you lie, the trust is completely out the window, and it is so hard, almost impossible, to fully ever gain it back. Number 5, communicate about intimate stuff in the bedroom. I always say this, but if you're planning on sticking it out with your partner, you want to feel pleasured and pleased in the bedroom, and you want to be able to be open and vocal to obtain what both of you guys want. Try to start that communication as early as possible in the relationship, just so that it becomes less uncomfortable to talk about. Number 6, try not to feel defeated by your arguments. I totally get how draining arguments with your partner can be just because you love them so much, but if you guys aren't fighting like an excessive amount, it's okay to fight, you know? You can try to think of it as each time you guys fight, it's a step closer in the right direction to where you want your relationship to be. That's obviously not if you're in like a toxic relationship though. Number 7 is so important. I think so many relationships fail because people compare themselves to other people's situations. If you're in a younger relationship, you may be comparing yourself to all the fun single people around you. Or if you're in a like kind of healthy, boring relationship, you might be comparing yourself to the toxic, love bombing relationship. Literally everyone wants what they can't have, and everyone's always gonna like be comparing themselves to other people. Just think about it. So many people are comparing themselves to you, wishing that they were in your situation. So it's important to just kind of keep your head focused just on you and your partner rather than other people around you in terms of comparison. Number 8, be willing to help out your partner. It doesn't always have to be 50-50. People's mental health and feelings change all the time, and sometimes you just gotta help your partner out a little bit. Give a little extra 80 rather than just 50. Number 9 will change your life, but learn how to forgive. If you're in a long-term relationship, I guarantee your relationship isn't perfect, and so you guys have to be willing to forgive and just move on if you guys do really want to be together. And number 10, you have to be willing to grow together. Also, this is the Freck in the extra large, and it's the best fake freckle thing ever. As time goes on, you guys are growing and evolving, and you have to make sure you're doing that together, or else the relationship is doomed. Just using the L'Oreal Telescopic Mascara. Anyways, I hope this helped, and trust me, you guys can make it work if you really want to. And here's the final makeup look. Love you guys. Talk about 8 signs that you're being cheated on. As I do my skincare routine, and everything's going to be linked below. Disclaimer, I'm not making this video to scare people or anything. I'm literally just making this video to protect my girls because some of these men are suspicious as fuck. Number 1, he hides his phone from you. If he's trying to be all suspicious and sneaky with his phone, that is a major red flag. What is he hiding? Why does he not want you to see his phone? Number 2, he controls you. A lot of men have control issues when they're acting up. They're literally just projecting onto you. Think about it. Insecure men are the men that cheat, and insecure men are the men that try to control you. Number 3, there's a sudden change of energy when nothing between you guys has happened, whether that's him being too nice or too distant. If he's being too nice, that could be a sign that he's feeling guilty about something he's done. And if he's being too distant, that could mean he's just distancing himself because he knows he fucked up. Number 4, he has a sudden new interest in his appearance. If they go from randomly not giving a shit about their appearance to caring so much about what they look like and everything about them, their cologne, their appearance, that is a red flag. Because it's like, what changed? Like, why are you all of a sudden caring what you look like? You didn't give a shit like a week ago when you were laying next to me. Number 5, they're randomly buying themselves a lot of free time, whether that's through work trips or working overtime. If this is happening all of a sudden, that could be a major sign. Because think about it, if you're with them 24/7, they're not going to be able to cheat. So they start taking this time off and then suddenly they're getting a little sneaky. Number 6, you can just tell that they've always had a wandering eye. If they're your boyfriend, they should not have a wandering eye for anyone else. You are their person. If they're constantly checking out other chicks, what makes you think that they're not going to go after them? Number 7, you have a gut instinct rather than having anxiety. Gut instincts are much more genuine and clarifying rather than anxiety, which is much more sporadic and fearful. And number 8, he starts making you feel crazy when you bring up situations that make you uncomfortable. You're entitled to your feelings and your boundaries, and if he's not respecting that and trying to make you feel crazy, that is not a good sign. Don't start spiraling just because you saw this video. It doesn't automatically mean he's cheating. These are just some signs that I picked up from different, encounters and watching my friends go through shit. These are the red flags that I saw in them. And I'm just trying to look out for my girls. Love you guys.